Like, where would you like to see Gallery Bird go? Like, how would you like to see it grow?
I I want to do so many things. I feel like that's why I have so many side projects too, is that
Yeah.
I want to do like all of these things because I think that they're just so fun and like rewarding and engaging and all those good things. Um, the ultimate goal for the gallery, well, I'm saying ultimate, but the place that I want to get it to so that then more and more things can happen past that ultimate, right? Because there's the ultimate that I see now, and then there'll be an ultimate after you get to the ultimate.
Yeah.
So not an ultimate, but we'll go with it. um I really want it to have a physical space.
Yeah. I was just
um
thinking that.
yeah, it's got to have a physical space because a lot of what I want to do, and I think you do too a little bit, is like some more, like a lot more programming and
Oh yeah.
community engagement. And
Mhm.
we've gotten a little bit of taste of that right before COVID happened, like
Yeah.
literally right before COVID happened. We had our first New York City pop-up. We had a small pop-up in Seattle that I did in January, and then we had our first New York City pop-up
Like the week before everything shut
the
down.
week before everything shut down. It was the last weekend of February,
Yeah.
at a little wine shop, and we had some art, and it was a whole thing, and it was so great and so
Yeah.
fun, and the artist sold work, and
Yeah.
like that's what I want to turn it into,
Yeah.
that times 10, right?
Yeah.
And so then we had all these plans to start putting more things together, and then immediately COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
And we were really lucky because most of everything was online for us, so we could still kind of keep going as normal. But I think I really want to see a physical space, whether that's more consistent pop-ups, whether it's a physical gallery space that then we can have, community events and physical art shows and that kind of stuff in. But I definitely want more community projects and to get out there and really show new art, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that momentum that we had coming off of that pop-up show was so good. Also, shout out to Spirit Animal in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. If you are in Williamsburg, definitely hit them up for some wine on the
Yeah,
way.
that was the first space that we were in that like we didn't really have a claim to, right?
But it's also just a super beautiful space.
Yeah.
Um,
And they were so great, gracious to have us.
yeah.
And, it was really awesome to work
Yeah,
with.
and I was like, "Oh, I totally want to do more of this." And we had some ideas in the works that obviously had to get put on hold. So,
Right.
we're reformulating them, and who knows what 2021 will bring.
Right.
But I
So kind of like working off this a little bit though, like that's kind of where you want to see the gallery
totally,
move forward, right?
yeah, I would love to see us as a space that is, yes, a gallery. I mean, I would be remiss to say that like I'm not a little like I don't romanticize the idea of art galleries like a little bit. Like there is a part of
Yeah,
me that like
for
wants
sure.
to like run a gallery and like have really cool shows and like drink champagne while we, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah, yeah,
totally a
yeah.
part of me that wants that.
Oh, for sure.
Um, but I also want a space where people can feel comfortable. Like I remember one time I for some reason had to like walk all the way through Soho to get to NYU. I don't remember where I was coming from. Oh, wait, I my my shoe broke on the subway like fully, like the sole of my shoe like fully came off. So I like
Oh no.
go to like a shoe repair place to like get my shoe fixed because I like was going somewhere. Yeah, it was a long day, but I had to walk all the way through Soho to get to NYU's campus. And I mean, I passed a dozen galleries easily, and I'm gonna say that like I probably wouldn't have felt very comfortable walking into any of them. just to like look, because there's just this air of exclusivity that I think's been
Yeah.
specifically curated. I mean, you know, we can go back through the history of museums and like the exclusivity that's ingrained in these spaces.
Yeah.
And I want to have a place where someone could just come in and look at the art. Like, yeah, maybe they can't afford to buy it. Like, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't go there to look. And I know,
Right.
you know, like a business, from a business standpoint, maybe that's not the wisest thing to say, but I see the gallery hopefully being, you know, half gallery, half community space.
Hmm.
So I would love to, you know, put that vision to work in a way where we can still, you know, support ourselves off of it. So
Right.
that would be ideal. So if we could fully support ourselves while working in the arts, you know, and comfortably live, some might even say that would be a superpower. So on that note,
Yes.
Vanessa,
On that note,
I'm gonna segue into what superpower do you wish that you could have?
there's so many good ones to choose from. I think my favorite of all time though has to be teleportation.
It would be very convenient.
It would be so convenient, and I would get so much more done if I could just not have to sit in traffic.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you'd be able to travel like whenever you wanted for as much time as you wanted, because you could just snap your fingers and be back,
Yeah,
you
that would be
know.
very cool.
I I I think it would have to be that one
Right
for
on.
sure. What kind of superpower does Liz would you want?
Um, I'm torn between two. So my initial thought was time travel, just because
Mm.
I'm a history major and like how cool would it be to like be able to go back and see really monumental moments in history. But you know, I feel like I've seen like too many shows or like read too many novels where it's like that's really not a good thing to do.
Like oh, I just watched it recently because it came back on Netflix. Back to the Future.
Right. Yeah.
You get
You
into one of
know,
those
like
situations.
yeah, and ultimately like the sense that I get from that is like time travel is actually not like you probably shouldn't do that. So, uh, you know, not wanting to mess up the course of history, I think maybe my other superpower would be to be able to become fluent in whatever language I wanted
Ooh,
immediately.
that's a good
Would
one.
make my life so much easier, and traveling so much easier.
Yeah.
I really like learning about languages and I like learning languages, but the time that it takes to become fluent in them uh, is a lot. And also, like, I am considering going on for a PhD in Russian studies or Slavic studies. And so I will have to become fluent in Russian. So if I could just do that, that would be really ideal. So
Yeah,
that would
for
be
sure.
my superpower that I, you know, dreamed of having in the midst of quarantine. And I mean, I know that quarantine like overall is not been a great experience for everyone. Like I'm not sure that, you know, 20 years from now, if humanity still exists, you know, that we're gonna like look back at quarantine and be like, oh, those those were the days. But
Oh, for
like,
sure.
what is one positive thing that's come out of quarantine for you?
For me, and you know, obviously, there's been a lot of struggles and struggles for everyone. But I've been really lucky that and privileged, I guess, that I have still had the support that I needed. Um, I only lost my job for like 2 months, month and a half or so. Um, so I was really lucky to then get my job back. But even just having those 2 months, I got a lot done. And I think that that's been the really good positive thing, is that because I'm not going outside, I'm staying home, I've gotten a lot of work done that was really important to me and that I really wanted to get done, but just never had the time, or something else would come up. I've I've redone my website. I've started a third side project of helping some other people with their websites and social media things. And with the gallery, been able to plan a lot of stuff and kind of get more organized in terms of what's happening next. And I was really grateful to be able to have that time and continue to have that time to get some of these things that are really important to me, but because of just regular life, I wasn't able to kind of focus on as much as I wanted to. And so the silver lining of being forced to stay inside and not go out to restaurants, which I'm dearly missing,
Yeah.
is that I had the time to work on things that I wanted to. And that is not to say that I did also have days where I literally just watched Netflix for like 8 hours
Totally
straight,
fair.
which is totally fair. Just wanted to put that out. I'm not always on top of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you? Because I know you had your ups and downs you had some drastic ups and downs and changes that happened to you during COVID. So
yeah, my whole life kind of got upended. Which is not to say that, like, I do realize that my experience with this pandemic is definitely marked by my privilege. There are a lot of people that were in much worse situations than I was in. So, when I say like my whole life got upended, like, I say that with a degree of like knowing, okay, but really you're fine, So, but my job did shut down. I was working in a restaurant in Brooklyn. I had been living in New York for 3 years and, had no intention of leaving. But, when things started getting really serious and everything got shut down, my roommates decided to leave and go to Connecticut, and I was just not feeling great about being alone in New York. Not that we had a bad apartment to quarantine in. Honestly, our apartment would have been probably fine to quarantine in, but it just didn't necessarily feel super safe. And the town that Vanessa and I grew up in, we're really fortunate. We grew up in a really beautiful small town, and I was sort of the mindset, if I am going to have to go, quarantine somewhere, at least like in upstate New York, I can go on a walk in the woods and, feel very confident that I'm not going to run into anybody else.
yeah.
And I didn't. So, and like the cases here are lower. We've actually had really low numbers in upstate New York for pretty much the entirety of the pandemic, which isn't to say that we're not like taking it seriously and not, following the rules, but I never thought I would live here again. So coming back here, and then after being here for like 2 months, it became apparent that going back to New York wasn't necessarily the most viable option at this time. But I still kind of clung on to that idea, like pretty much up until June, when I got offered a job at a local museum, and it's a historic fort. And, I was like, it's so hard to get a museum job in New York. This is such a great opportunity for me. I feel like I need to stay and, take advantage of this. And that's definitely been the silver lining for me in terms of this pandemic, is being able to go work at this local museum and really get in touch with our local history. Like, there is so much cool history that happened in this area. And it's like we kind of know about it, you know. I feel like we learn about it here and there. Like, oh yeah, I heard of the French
But you're like,
Invasion.
I've heard it all before.
Yeah, you know, but this summer when I was giving, you know, historic walking tours of Battlefield Park in Lake George Village, like it just put a whole new perspective on the area to me, and really just the super rich history that's here. And also I've gotten to participate in some reenacting, and that's been so fun. I actually want that to become a hobby that I
Oh
do.
my God, yes.
Yeah, I
Learning a new hobby via
mhm.
quarantine.
Yeah, so that's definitely been a silver lining. I, you know, did not see this being where my life was. Um, and I know I won't stay here forever, but it's where I am now, and I feel like I'm making the best of a difficult situation. So lastly, if you could create like one massive, really creative project in whatever capacity, medium that you want, and it was guaranteed to be a success, what would you make?
All right, so I'm going to go with this one. I was kind of thinking between two different things, so I'm going to go with this one. Is that I have always, I feel like it's one of those like missed avenues, right? Like, that like a path I could have taken, but I didn't go down it. So not that it's too late, but that the amount of work I would have to like put into like going down that path is like a lot. So if I could just snap my fingers and have it happen, I feel like that would be just to like play with. That would be cool. But if I could like what's the word? If I could like completely like do like a hybrid between like an interior design and like an architect,
Okay,
and
interesting.
do like a whole house, you know, just like all the color, all the furniture, all the nooks and crannies and everything. And I know people like design their own homes and things, but like actually do it myself too, you know, from like start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would be so cool and so fun. And it might also be influenced by the fact that the last couple things I've watched on Netflix have been interior design projects and building tiny homes. So there's where maybe my influence is coming from.
But I feel like when you talk about the house, you almost talk about it as if it were a piece of art, like not necessarily
yeah.
as like a house, like a utilitarian object, but like an artistic process.
Yeah, no, going off of that, there is, and I don't know the name of it or anything because I just like have these memories of seeing clips about it. There's like like think of an escape room, but it's an entire house, and it's like also not really an escape room but kind of like a playroom. So each room in the house is like a different theme, like puzzle, slide, you know, whatever maze to play through.
Mm-hmm.
And like doing something like that would be so much fun and so cool, I think. Just like completely, I don't know,
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, interior design I've always kind of been interested in, but never did the thing, so to speak. What would you do though if you could do any kind of creative big thing, big project? What would it be?
I think I would probably want to direct a movie. Like I
Oh
was
yeah,
interested in filmmaking as a kid, and I didn't pursue it, and I'm okay with that. Like I don't actually think that that would necessarily be avenue I'd want to do professionally, but
Right.
you know, if I could like if I had like unlimited money and like, you know, knew it was going to be a success, I would
Right.
probably want to make a movie. Um like an homage to my favorite movies and
So what kind of movie? Like what genre would it be?
it would be a murder mystery for sure.
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
murder mysteries. um but have like the aesthetic of like a Wes Anderson movie. Um
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm gonna talk about The Love Witch again because I'm obsessed with it. But like Anna Biller is a genius. Like I love her take on storytelling, and I love the feminist theory that informs how she makes her films. So definitely something like that. It would definitely be very like aesthetically driven. But I would also hope that, you know, it has an important social message to it. There's just so many layers to films, and that's what I think is so cool. There's so much complexity there that, you know, you don't necessarily see. It's like all of this complexity is interwoven into these narratives, and kind of dissecting those deeper levels of a film is really interesting for me. So I would make a movie and then I'd win an Oscar for it. So that's what I
Amazing.
would do.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think that does it for our interview with one another.
Yeah, kind of went full circle with your reference there again at the end.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
yeah.
Anything that'll lead me back to talking about the Love Witch is great. So but I've had a lot of fun. Kind of gone down like memory lane a little bit for us.
For
Um,
sure.
so want us to see, or like if you want to see more content like this from us, let us know.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah,
We always are open to ideas and suggestions and
yeah. Well, in true Gallery Baird fashion, we are trailblazing ahead and figuring it out as we go. So fingers crossed that this comes out how it how we hope it will.
yeah.
Yeah. All
True
right.
test to my editing skills.
Yeah.
Which I haven't used since college.
Yeah.
On that note.
On that note, thank you again, and stay tuned to Gallery Baird for more fun and exciting content from your favorite, somewhat semi-professional curators and gallery runners.
Nope.
Yeah, all right. Bye, everyone.
See ya.